are 3 finished arrows. Oh, beautiful. Hi, it's Todd from Tods Workshop and Todd Cutler here, and today we are going to make bouncing arrows. I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, these things are amazing and they are brilliant because they just skim across the surface of the water and they're used for hunting. Have a look at this duck hunting video I did a few years ago.
Oh, ho, ho! Got one! Oh. They work, right.
These bouncing arrows, like I just showed you, are used by indigenous people all over the world. And that includes Oxfordshire. Have a look at this. This is my field. Yeah, happens every year, I'm not worried about it, don't fret. But when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I can't believe I just used that cheesy line. But it does mean we're off to the workshop. I'm going to show you how to make this in a workshop here. Clearly you can bushcraft it. I'm not doing that today. But this is the object here. One of the tines on the front has broken. But what's really important is this equator line here. You can see that it's a little bit further forward than the halfway point. So actually, what we're going to make is that. And this one, it works really well. So if you stick to those dimensions, go for it. If you want to change it a bit and find out what happens, try that too. First up is turn it into a cylinder, 27mm diameter, so a bit over 1 inch. So it's a little over 27mm now. I'm just going to put that back into the lathe, remove the other bit. I'm going to put in a 6mm through hole all the way through the component. 9.2mm, 20mm deep hole for the arrow shaft. I'm going to mark the equator line and then the finished length. And then quite simply, I'm going to freehand those facets into this piece. And this is the finished piece of wood, hole for the arrow, hole for the fork at the front, and that's my existing arrow, so it just plugs on. Going to make 2 more of those, and then we're off to do the forks. These 3 arrows are now fitted up, but we have a 6mm hole going through the end. I'm going to sort of widen that a little bit, taper it, because then it will make the forked head a little bit stronger rather than going straight from a fork into a 6mm shaft. That transition will always be a weak point. So just popping my drill in and wiggling it around a little bit. So it now probably starts around about 8mm, something like that. The original heads I saw had a bone fork on it, but hardwood or metal would work just as well. I'm going to do bone again. So I've got a nice big thick slab of bone here. I'm just going to cut it to length, rough it out on the bandsaw, grind it, polish it. Now I have 3 of these forked bone pieces, just going to glue them in. And here we have our 3 finished arrows. Let's go see how they work. Hi, I've interrupted the film for another Todd Cutler related interesting fact. And today we have the antenna dagger. Goes from the 11th through to the 14th century. The first picture of something very similar to this I know of is 1080 from an Italian church wall. But it's a popular dagger all the way through to the 14th, and I love them. Anyway, you'll find this and other similar daggers available at toddcutler.com. But now, back to the film. So over there I've got a GoPro, and we've got our lovely arrows. What happens? Nice. So it went a little bit to the left. It actually bounced just in front or in line with the GoPro and then skipped left. You know, who knows? But the thing is, they're supposed to be for a pack of ducks that are sitting on the surface. And it starts to go, ducks rise. Well, it's going to be difficult to get an individual one, but actually as they're coming up and these skip over, maybe you'll get one. All right. It does help the lower you get, so I'm going to go right down. And there we have it. Yes, it did. Let's see if we can make it to the GoPro. So that's on the other side of our lake. Brilliant. Oh, yes. So they really are working. Oh, and that one ploughed, actually. I eat my words. Oh, beautiful. Oh, lovely. So those bouncing arrows really worked. But why is it good? Well, the thing is, if you imagine that you've just got a target out at, let's say, 20 meters or at 40 meters, if your line is good, well, you stand a chance of hitting it. But the thing is, if you go too high, you go over the top, you go too low, you go into the ground. So you've got a small window. A duck is a small target. But here, because you can use the water to bounce the arrow, it means if you're a little bit low or a little bit high, it's not so important because the arrow is going to skip along until it finds something. So what it means is the accuracy, you still got to get your line right, but your accuracy on the elevation is not so important. And when you've got a flock of birds and you might have a target at 10 meters and you might have one at 15, it gives you a chance to get either of them. So it is in fact fantastically useful. But the forked head on the end does something else as well. Let's shoot again. Arrows are precious and they're easy to lose in the reeds and the weeds at the side of a lake. And that's often where ducks are. But the forked head, not only is it good against birds, it seems to be a sort of an international standard for birds, really. But also, the reeds help to stop it. They just don't go very deep into the vegetation. And that makes them very easy to recover. Which has got to be a good thing, especially if you're living way up in the Arctic. Life is hard enough already. I hope you enjoyed the film on bouncing arrows and how to make them. But check out the original film, Duck Hunting, that I did. I love the intro. But if you do, subscribe to the channel. It all helps. And don't forget, we've got a Patreon page as well with loads of content in it. Come and have a look. See you next time, guys. I put the bow away and this happens. Clearly, the no bow hunting is against the law in the UK.